All right, this is the Appointments Committee meeting for April 3rd, 2024. This meeting is being recorded and will be rebroadcast on the Town of Barnstable Government Access Channel in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20. The chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, please make your presence known. All right, ready to go. Let's open up for public comment.
What I'm gonna do is roll call first, just so
Oh.
we make sure we have quorum. Counselor Bloom.
Here.
Burdick. Turkelson.
Here?
Clark.
Here.
Mendez.
Here.
You have quorum.
Okay, want to open up for public comment?
Sure. Does anybody have public comment?
I'm here, Cindy. I don't have any comment. I enjoy watching all of you, even though I don't always hear you very clearly.
I know, I apologize for the sound system in this room. It kind of echoes, which makes it on your end very muffled, and I apologize for that.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll sign. I'll be quiet.
No, you, you don't need to be quiet. Is there anybody
right.
else for public comment the chair was wondering?
I'm just listening in. Thank you.
Okay,
All right, close public comment.
Wait.
oh, Megan?
Oh, Megan?
Yes, hi. I just wanted to reiterate some of my comments from last week. I emailed you as well, so I'm just hoping you have a chance to review that. I didn't have a moment to do that until, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes ago, so I wouldn't expect that everybody has seen it. So just thank you very much.
Thank you.
I haven't seen them.
No. You're recused anyways.
Huh?
You're recused from that anyways. I said you're recused from this.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind those that you're recused from.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to not to see
Yeah.
what she's referring to, so
Yeah,
just checking. Cool. Excellent.
Okay, Jim.
all right. So let's start voting. Council on Aging, which I have to recuse from. Christine Beer. Just like I said. So, Madam Vice Chair.
Let's wait.
Oh, hey, Seth.
There he is. Hi. Hello, what's going on? We're just about to start. Thank you for
There you go.
letting me in late.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, that's a lot of shit.
You don't work out like Jeff does.
No, I definitely don't.
We took roll call, but now that you're here.
All right, just count me in.
Just speak
I
loud.
noted his presence at 3:35.
All right, I'll be right back. Since Jeff is gone too. I'll be right back.
We'll just pause till. Do we want to use the microphone? Because people on the other end said they can't hear us. I don't know. Do we can we?
We can try to plug them in, sure.
Work at her house. Oh, I couldn't call that. Yeah, I hear it.
Test it with Larry to see if it works any better.
Larry, is this better?
Yeah, it is. It's sort of an echo chamber, but let's see, give it a chance to adjust. Not a problem.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Open, close.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, Cindy.
Sure.
So we'll advance the number one.
That's why he left.
That's
I walked away.
I had nothing to do with you.
Okay, great.
So the first item on the agenda, after roll call and public comment, are the recommendations for appointments from the interview we've already conducted. First on Council on Aging is Christine Beer. She was interviewed on March 29th. Does anyone have any recommendations or would like to make a motion?
I'll move to recommend. Second.
Christine Beer.
Christine Beer for the Council on Aging Associate Member, term expiring 6/30/24.
Do you want to do 6/30/26?
Sure. That was just the first one I read.
This will be reappointed.
Yes, that's right. This is the year 2024.
And all members in favor signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
4, very good.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Let me get Councilman Mayes.
Musical chairs. Can't they sing for the Commander Congress?
Commander Congress. Yeah, they're recusing for Schwab, but can't they stay in the Board of Congress?
No, it's.
No, so, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the next is Hyannis Main Street Waterfront District Appeals Committee. A term expiring 6/30/2024. Do we have,
I move that we forward Eric Schwab's name to the town council's agenda for appointment to the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Appeals Committee, term ending 6/30/2024, in a couple of months.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
there's a second. All right,
Anybody else recommend anybody?
anybody else want to nominate Amanda Converse?
I'll nominate Amanda Converse for the term expiring 6/30/24.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and now you'll hold your vote. First recommendation was Eric Schwab. All those in favor? Counselor Clark. Next, Amanda Converse. All those in favor? Amanda carries.
So with this, we have the alternate member holding the Board of Real Estate license and the alternate member, just an alternate member.
Correct.
So Conrad Watson,
That we hold off on this appointment because we haven't interviewed.
Catherine the Duck, who's due back April 15th
Yeah.
from the Philippines. She put in her application in February for this position and also the position that the town manager is going to be appointing on the Cape Cod Commission. It was recommended by Councilor Turkelson that we hold off on this one until we're able to interview her after the 15th of April.
do you have an interview date?
I just know that she's coming back the 15th, so it's when you set your next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. So
All those members in favor of doing that?
Sure. I have a question. before I
Yes, sir.
start on that. So are we appointing two alternates or one alternate?
You're appointing an alternate that holds a Board of Real Estate license and an alternate, just a regular alternate.
So does she have a real estate license?
that's what I was gonna ask.
I don't know, but she could qualify for the alternate member position that Mr. Kuhn is available for on 6/30/2026, because that's just an alternate that doesn't.
Okay, so then why don't we vote on Conrad because he has the real estate license?
And we don't have another applicant with real estate license.
Yeah, we don't have another applicant with real estate license.
You
And
can do
then-
that.
And then we can, Mr. Coon, we can.
You'll have to hold off until you interview Catherine.
Yeah,
That seems reasonable, rather than have hold up both spots.
yeah. So does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll move that we nominate Conrad Watson for the real estate. The alternate member holding a Board of Real Estate license to the term expiring 6/30/2026.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Councilor Bloom abstained. Motion carries.
I was there as well.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's
I
okay.
didn't see it.
Those are good.
There's 3 that voted for it. Thank you.
Okay, this is for the Human Service Committee, regular member to a term expiring 6/30/2024. Regular member with a term expiring 6/30/2026. So we will vote on the 6/30/2024 expiration first. You have a nomination.
I make a motion to nominate Suzanne Welch to a regular member to a term expiring 6/30/24.
Second.
Okay. Anybody else?
Another nomination?
For the 24, you can, or you can just
Now,
hold off
Kevin
on that.
Matthews, if I'm not mistaken, is already on one of our boards.
HHDC.
Right.
Mhm.
So then I would nominate Wendy Crocker.
But we also have to populate the regular member to a term expiring 6/30/26.
That's what I mean. We have 3 people in 2 spots.
Yeah, so
So if we nominate 2 people to 1 spot,
I was gonna not, oh no, I thought this is a competing nomination.
Yeah.
Right, I have no competing nomination. I was just.
Okay. Suzanne Welch was nominated as a regular member to a term expiring 6/30/2024. It was, seconded. All members in favor of that move? Unanimous?
Hmm.
okay, so this is a regular member with a term expiring 6/30/2026.
I move that we nominate or recommend to the town council Wendy Crocker for a regular member to a term of expiring 6/30/2026.
Second.
All those in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, this is infrastructure and energy. 2 regular members with term expiring 6/30/2024 and 1 expiring 6/30/2026. So we will do the 6/30/2024 first.
I nominate William Beal to the term expiring 6/30/2024.
I second that.
Any other nominations for the 2024?
I nominate Joseph Takanya for the term expiring 6/30/2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have William Beal and Joseph Takanga. 2 regular members with terms that expire on 6/30/2024. All those in favor?
Wait, 2 members?
There's
Right.
2 regular members with a term expiring 6/30/2024.
No, I second one, that's my mistake.
Okay, I'm confused. Can we back up now?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was not
No, one's 2024 and one's 2026.
That's true. 2 members
Yeah,
with different expiring dates.
Let me just pull up there.
Thank you, Cindy, for keeping us.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought there were,
One expires on 24,
and one.
one expires on 26.
Okay, that's good.
Do we only have selected applications in here? I'm just gonna, I remember, William Beal was the pilot who worked in our.
No, William Beal's a respiratory therapist.
Yeah, over in medicine.
Right,
Well, there's one business.
yes, now I remember. I'm sorry, just trying to tie faces.
Yeah.
Put together in my mind, because. I didn't see
if you want to review the resumes really quick, we can hold off for a second.
No, that's okay. I remember. That was just me. A lot of people in the
We
last.
did a lot of interviews.
Last time was 12 in one day, right?
So is the nomination Joseph or William for the 2024?
Well, she nominated and I seconded.
On Joseph.
On William.
No,
I mean, on William,
Yeah.
excuse me.
on William.
And then Charlie nominated Joseph Tacone.
Do you want to keep that nomination for that?
For 2024, yeah.
Okay. Just give me a quick second, please.
Sure.
Joseph was interviewed on February 16th.
Oh,
That's.
yeah.
on the business.
Okay. All set, I'm all set. You guys all set?
Where's your nomination for William Beal?
Uh,
6/30/2024.
That's right. I nominated him and Charlie nominated Joe.
Okay, we're gonna vote on 2024. All those in favor of William Beal? 4. All those in favor of Joseph Sakonga? Okay, Mr. Beal carries. Okay, now you've got your next one that expires on 6/30/2026 for the Infrastructure and Energy Committee.
I would like to nominate Chris Wallinger for the Infrastructure and Energy Committee,
Is there a second?
the term expiring 6/30/2026.
The second one.
Anybody else have any nominations? Okay, we have a motion for Christopher Gloninger as a regular member to the Infrastructure and Energy Committee to a term expiring 6/30/2026. All those in favor? It's unanimous. So it's Mr. Gloninger and Mr. Beal.
The next is the Youth Commission. Student members to terms expiring 6/30/2025. Wilma Junior De Oliveira and Noah Lionis.
Yep.
And I have a question, the 4 student members, that's 4 more on top of the others that we put forward?
Yes,
No, there's 4.
we,
Did we already do Nate Lucky?
Yeah,
he's on, well, we haven't done him yet. He's on the April 4th agenda.
so, but he's not one of these.
Oh, no, meaning that we already.
That would have been
suggested
5.
that. I didn't remember.
Okay, just checking.
We have graduating seniors that are leaving in June that are gonna vacate the positions, and you like to get them on before the end of the summer, so when September starts, they've got a full board.
So we still, after today, we'll have 2 more openings. Thank you.
I move that we nominate Junior D. Oliveira to a term expiring at 6/30/2025.
Second that.
I move that we nominate Noah Lyonnaise for term expiring 6/30/25.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of Welmer Junior De Oliveira and Noah Linus to the Youth Commission for student members to terms expiring 6/30/2025, signify by raising your hand. Unanimous.
I'm out.
Councilor Bloom is recusing himself. He has a conflict with one of the applicants.
Now, what was, this was the one where you recommended somebody. Didn't you?
No, this is only board. of-
No, this is the
Oh,
ZBA.
I see, okay. Wrong one.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
So for ZBA, I'd like to nominate Natalie Pettinger for an associate member term expiring 6/30/2024.
The second one.
Okay. We have a first and a second for Natalie. Does anybody else have any nominations?
I'll nominate Rodney Tabano.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anybody, any other nominations? No. Okay, we have a first and a second for Natalie Pittinger, Zoning Board of Appeals, 1 associate member, term expiring 6/30/2024. All those in favor? 2. And we have a nomination for Rodney Tabano as an associate member to a term expiring 6/30/2024. All those in favor? Okay. It is a tie with 1 recusal. I'm not sure what happens in that case.
I will say I did talk to Jake Dewey, and also to, the vice chair, just to get a sense of, you know, what would be a good candidate application, just because of the enormity and the importance of this. Ward, and what he did say was less builders and less people in the trades and less people in law. Somebody who's really engaged, who wants to be able to basically take the books, read through the books, decipher the books, and really be to the purview of the board, and be able to be not just checking a box to have this, like, you know, I'm on the ZBA and I'm in building, but to actually have somebody who's gonna critically, you know, think through and read for detail. I did ask him also about training. He goes, there's really not a lot of training. He goes, they hand you a bunch of books and you just kind of pour through those. The vice chair said he thought that would be good to have some more training, just because it is such an important board. But it's really a learn by doing. It's not necessary that you need to have trades experience or be a lawyer. You need to be able to think critically. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I understand that, and I can appreciate that opinion. My thing is that it gets gummed up so much that we need to hear from people who it affects on a day-to-day basis to help ungum it up, because I hear it every day about the zoning board of appeals. And so that's why I was supporting Mr. Devano, for the years in the trades. So he hears the same things that I do, and just for it to be a sense of transition, but I mean, it's not like I'm advocating for anybody, but yeah, that was why I voted.
Well, Paul was builder and Rodney is HVAC.
Yeah, he's in the trades.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a builder, you know, builder versus a.
Yeah, he's in the
Much
trades.
commercial refrigeration.
Yeah.
I mean,
I also did speak with the chair, Dewey. He also said that he felt comfortable that they are not at risk of losing a quorum, given that this associate member's term expires in a couple of months.
Mhm.
Perhaps we want to hold off because it's a tie anyways. But he did echo the same to me, that he thought that they were fully representing the trades.
Mhm.
And he said it's not necessarily a type of committee that does, how did I want to say, trade-offs. That's not his word, that's mine, I'm not thinking of the right word. But he said he recognizes that the town council labors over some of the regulations, and the ZBA applies the regulations. They don't grant
Variances.
changes.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is,
yeah.
it's only Board of Appeals, but he said they don't change the regulations that the town council has established. They
Yeah.
have to apply it. So he thought that, and I also look at, I mean, I've taken time to look through the current board's makeups of those that we're looking at. And I tried to write down what part of the town they're from, what's the makeup. I know it's difficult to be balanced politically, geographically, gender balanced in different ways. And the ZBA is, I've got a makeup of all men except for an alternate who's
Denise
Denise
Johnson.
Johnson. So as far as gender balance, I thought that Natalie, with her graduate school of engineering and her resume, would be able to enhance the makeup of that committee in offering more balance to its structure. So after looking at the credentials, speaking to the chair, who thought that the trades were already represented, and asked, I said, do you have any input? He thought Natalie would be a good addition. But he also said that they're not at risk for a quorum. He said they have good attendance. They're, other than this one alternate, that they're not at risk. So he said there's no hurry to evaluate that position, if we want to choose to.
Yeah,
make
well,
it.
then why don't we just keep it posted and see who
You
shows
can
up?
keep it open and make an announcement at the next town council meeting that you're looking for applicants for the ZBA. And after speaking with the chair, you know, he feels that this position can stay open for longer because there's not a quorum issue. That would be the rationale behind it, to give the public an opportunity to submit if they chose to.
And he,
How long, oh, sorry, no, you first.
sorry, he did say he also has been watching our meetings. So I have to admit that Mr. Dewey makes a significant investment in
Mhm.
trying to do a good job. He said he has to, sometimes reel some of his, I'm paraphrasing, his members in to say, go back to the regulations, it's this section that we're dealing with, and this is what we have to apply. So.
Did he advocate for Mrs. Pettinger?
I didn't ask him for his choice. I said, should I nominate Mrs. Pettinger, Ms. Pettinger? Would he have a problem? He goes, no problem whatsoever. So he was very comfortable. I said, this is what I'm inclined to do tonight. And I said, I'm kind of finding two things to deal with on this committee. One is attendance, and two, get some feedback from the chair. Are the committee members making meaningful contributions to the committee? And he thought that she would be welcomed. He also mentioned, no, never mind, it's something here in secondhand, so it's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
How long has this been open, this spot?
Since the beginning.
We asked a lot of you, Cindy.
No, I'm trying to think when the last person resigned. It's been probably 4 months. It's been a while. But it's one of those, it's a regulatory, committee. And it's one of those that's very, I don't know if I could do it, because there's so much to
They
know.
meet
But
twice a month.
I mean, I think the thing is that from both of the people that I spoke with, I mean, they're literally like, they hand you a bunch of books.
Yeah.
And your job is to go through that. So we
Yeah.
do need to find somebody who is, even with their trades background or their building background. Sometimes when you're in the industry,
You
you
know
know,
it.
like siloed. Natalie doesn't really have, an alliance to any part of the industry other than to read the regulations and sift through. And I think her background, her educational background and her work background, lead her to be a critical thinker. And that's one of the things I said was we need somebody who can, think critically, because, it is about teasing apart.
Well, it's not,
The pieces of-
it's not about her qualifications, because she's definitely qualified. Nothing to do with qualifications.
Yeah. But if we're saying that tradesmen should be prefaced because they have experience in building.
That's not what I said. What I said was that they know the complaints firsthand about the ZBA, because we hear them all the time. I'm a tradesman, and we hear them all the time. So I like people to be on boards and committees who live with the results of these boards and committees.
But we all live with the results of the boards of the committees.
Not
But
necessarily.
we do. We all live in the town of Barnstable. We're all,
I'm talking about when it directly, for instance, I have a contractor in Ossipee who was trying to do some work, and he got 3 different answers from the 3 different committees. So we need to streamline stuff like that. So it's clear, even if you read out of the book, it doesn't necessarily tell you what the pitfalls are. Somebody who has to deal with those pitfalls can tell you, these are the pitfalls of those rules. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, I don't have a problem with her per se. I don't. And I think it's a great argument that there's no women on that board.
well, there's one.
I think it is. Well, she's an alternate.
Yeah.
She's an alternate. So I think that brings a whole nother thing into it.
Why don't we let it sit for 30 days and then come back? If something else turns up, or we change our minds, or we all feel differently. I don't think, for me, that's fine. I don't, because if it's the third, yeah, they don't have a quorum issue.
Just, my notes to myself here is, from her, from the records, that she knows how to interpret regulations, and that she has attended ZBA meetings. So that shows that she's made some investment. Like I said, I was just combing through my homework here, and I appreciate you recognizing that we make an effort at some balance.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Because we need balance.
I mean, there was one committee I went through, and everyone was from Centerville. When it's not, that's a geographic balance, and it's not, it depends on who they're, who nominated them when they came up for consideration. It's not a fault, it's just that I just try to be aware. But,
So do you want to revote, or do you want to wait?
if you're willing to reconsider a vote, we can get this done. I'm still nominating Natalie Pettinger for this position. Can you reconsider?
We haven't taken a final vote.
I'll move to
I will
reconsider.
second your motion to reconsider.
All those in favor of reconsideration?
Favor of reconsideration, meaning revoting?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
You don't have to reconsider.
that's what I was saying. It was like I was about to raise my hand. I was like, oh.
Okay, so 3,
No, I don't know. Did Jeff raise his hand?
I'll
Okay, I just didn't see you raising him, so I just didn't want.
so 3, the motion carries. So reconsideration for the ZBA, associate member, term expiring 6/30/2024. We have 2 nominations, Natalie Pittinger and Rodney Tabano. Natalie Pittinger, all those in favor? 2. And then Rodney Tabano, 2. All right, so it's tied again, so that means you want to hold off for another,
Till our next meeting.
okay. Very good, we will hold off.
We'll put it on the next agenda so we can get it filled.
Yep. Now, the only other thing you have left, where'd Charlie go?
Charlie,
She's getting.
Are the 2 at the end, Carolyn Farrell, she's just a reappointment to the Mid-Cape Cultural.
Mhm.
And the Town of Barnstable representative member to the Steamship Authority Board of Governors, Robert Jones, who you heard from last week.
All right. Do we get a nomination for Colin Farrell?
I recommend to the town council that we nominate Carolyn Farrell as a regular member to a term expiring 12/31/26.
Yeah, they have,
Yeah, the yearly appointments.
yes, yeah,
For the Mid-Cape Cultural Council.
and they go calendar year, not fiscal.
Understood.
Second.
I will nominate Robert Jones to be Town of Barnstable's representative member with the Steamship Authority Board of Governors to a term expiring 12/31/2027.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have Mid-Cape Cultural Council, Carolyn Farrell as a regular member to a term expiring 12/31/26. All those in favor? Okay. And Town of Barnstable representative member to the Steamship Authority Board of Governors, Robert Jones, to a term expiring 12/31/2027. All those in favor? Unanimous. All right.
All right, you want to make a motion to vote on the minutes?
Make the motion to vote on the minutes.
In a second,
Second.
all those in favor of accepting the meeting minutes of March 15th, 2024, March 29th, 2024 as written? What meeting are we at?
Yeah.
Unanimous, thank you.
All right, guys, any other business?
Nothing new. I don't know if you want to set your next meeting.
Yeah, we have, like I said, we have 94 reappointments that we have to get through. So what I recommend we do, it's up to you guys, is that the ones who are unopposed, we can just pass those, let's get those done. And just really move forward. That way,
I think that we should, maybe at least have, maybe I can come up with a draft, some questions. I think that there should be a little bit of evaluation.
well, I just,
Evaluation for an empty spot though.
it's for an empty spot as somebody being advanced. I mean, we're gonna interview 80 people.
No, not necessarily interview, but even if there was like an evaluation form that they filled out.
Meaning-
Oh, something they fill out and send in.
Yeah. like,
Oh, yeah, that's
Some-
fine, yeah,
How do you feel you contributed to this committee? I
yeah,
mean,
that's fine.
just so that we're not just rubber stamping it.
Yeah.
So that we are invested, that they are invested.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, I mean, I agree with that to a certain extent, but also is it like, does it really show you're invested or is it just like a piece of busy work in a way? Do you know what I mean? Because if these people are already in place on these committees and how they've been functioning or not, they're still gonna be reappointed to these committees.
But what if we find out that don't respond, don't take the time to respond? We look at their attendance and how do we look at this?
So is that any different than not having a person on? Just
Well,
instead
but
of
honestly,
you saying, okay,
when
well,
we're
yeah.
opening up spots and we actually know there's openings in committees that are created as a result of culling some dead wood. I mean, when you look at the health and human services, I mean, I spent an hour of my time going through every meeting from the last 16 months. And it was underperforming long before people dropped off or however they exited. And they've been underperforming because they haven't had anybody put in those places. But on the same hand, if you look at some of the meetings and people are on those committees and they're not showing up, we're setting a precedent that allows that to roll down the road, that our committees are, if we just keep
It's like a
rolling.
self-assessment.
Let me finish stuff.
Well,
Let me finish.
sure.
If we have 5 people on a committee and 3 of them aren't showing up and we're having an issue and nobody knows that those people aren't being held accountable and they're still in the position, we're not even opening the space for someone on a different board that might be filled by somebody who's interested and might be better participating and engaged. We're not even creating that opportunity by just,
Right, I can understand that. You are finished now, right? So, but at the same time, so then we have a self-assessment that we send out to people. And then we judge that assessment, and then what is the mechanism for removing a person from a committee?
We're not removing anybody.
So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
correct.
So the way that you pose it as if it's some kind of a job review scenario. What, do we even have a mechanism for that?
I look at it this way.
Do you know, but
I'm not gonna vote for somebody who is chronically absent from something. So that's why I would love to have that information. Now, you might vote for that person and you have every right to vote for that person, but I may not vote for that
So
person.
no, that's not what I mean, I can understand.
That's
obvious,
how I look at what this
So
suggestion is.
it'll be a self-reporting thing that you'll send to people, to each individual who appears on the docket. And then they'll be responsible for reporting how many meetings that they've attended and then how many meetings that they've missed. And then what their contributions are, and then we'll take those and on the day, when their vote comes up, we'll say, okay, A, B, C, D, and E, we're going to then vacate this position.
we might not renominate.
But that's what I mean when I
Yeah,
say
so,
vacate
yeah,
this position.
yes,
So we're gonna terminate them essentially. So
Yeah.
then we'll say, okay, well, this person isn't, because then do we have to determine a metric by which we determine what's an appropriate level of absenteeism, then, well, for what purpose or
It's
what
already
agenda?
it's already in our,
Right, I understand that. So then we're gonna then, as you say, call the dead wood from these committees and then reopen these spots and then interview people. So that's what you're proposing. I'm just trying to make it clear to myself and to those people, and maybe clear to whoever's listening. I mean, I don't oppose that necessarily,
And
but
part of it might not be a bad idea to leave some vacancies because there's gonna be a new committee on committees. Who's gonna say maybe this committee is underperforming and we can either combine them like they did with DPW and.
so then wouldn't this be double work then? And really, if we're looking at, if we have a committee on committees that's upcoming, that's gonna be looking at these same types of issues, then is it reasonable for us to spend our time in that fashion prior to any kind of determination that this committee is gonna
Then
make?
I would say we would do a disservice to that new town council populated committee. By,
I'm not sure we should talk about a committee that isn't in existence.
no, but I'm saying.
I mean, but it has a mission statement. I mean, it has a,
We don't know what's gonna happen, so I think we have to just look at what's happening here, you know what I mean?
But my point is that if we choose to just rubber stamp everyone that's up for a reappointment, then we're hamstringing this committee that might want to streamline. Maybe we're not going to have 43 committees anymore. Maybe we're going to have 33 committees.
See, I don't like the thing rubber stamping because that simplifies what I'm talking about.
Okay,
What I'm talking about is if, obviously, it's obvious they have to have a good attendance record if they want to be reappointed.
But
Okay, it's obvious that they have to be active on the committees if they want to be reappointed. Okay, because don't forget, some of these committees have quorum issues. And if somebody's been showing up to the meetings, the chair and the other members of the committee have no problem with them, why are we gonna interview? And there's no competing, no competing application for that committee.
but right now we don't know that because we don't have the attendance for any of the committees.
right, so have we now we have discussed.
We
this
discussed,
before.
we discussed that would be something. we
Okay,
could-
so then we'll get the attendance.
That's good.
And then we'll vote on them on this, not the next meeting. If we do a meeting next week, we can do it in the following meeting. It's not gonna take a long look at it then.
Right, well, each committee, well, if you want to take this and have an actual, like a systematic approach to this, in my opinion, the place to begin is with the chair of each committee. And each chair
This
should
is why
have,
we contacted.
right, well, no, well, yeah. But what I'm saying is that each chair should have to, we should set a date. We should say to, okay, within the next month, we want to have a review of your, and this is, they have a report that they file with the town manager, right? But this would, I guess, be apart from that. And it would have to be something new, obviously, where we would say, we want a review of your committee and the performance of the members of this committee. And it would have, and you could simply ask them, who are the people, if this is the way you want to approach it, of course, which members of your committees do you feel are not living up to the standard of this committee or to the standard of the town? Well, I mean, they know their committees a lot better than we do. So if we're gonna sit here and say, oh, look at, John Smith missed 5 meetings, but John Smith had cancer and is usually a perfectly productive member of this committee,
Yeah,
then that would be totally unfair
but
to
it's not
John
every
Smith.
committee member, it's a third, because they're 3 terms and they're staggered for the most part.
Why wouldn't, I mean,
Only those that are coming due in 2020.
Well, this is,
but what would be the harm in collecting that information at any rate?
Oh, no.
see, this is what we need to be careful. And everybody here knows I'm all about process. Always have been. But we have to be careful of going down a slippery slope here. Okay? Because if we're gonna be determining what is acceptable and what's not, somebody else can interpret it, like Seth said. Or like the woman who wants to be interviewed and has been in the Philippines. Should that forbade her from being interviewed? Because she was on vacation for a month and a half?
And is there any
You
legal
know,
exposure?
hold on.
that- Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So, you know, if we're going to go down that road, we have to establish clear regulations amongst us about what's acceptable, what's not, excused absences, not excused absences. So it's a slippery slope.
There is a code, there is a rule in the code.
Yeah, if you
It's
look-
3 consecutive meetings in a row, not 3 in a year, 5 in a year. It's 3 consecutive, like Monday, they have a meeting, the next Monday they're not there, and the next Monday they're not there. That's their 3 consecutives.
Right.
But if they don't attend one and then they're at the 2 others and then don't attend another one, that's not consecutive. So you have to look at the attendance records very carefully. And I would suggest you do it after COVID,
Sure, yeah. I understand.
because most of the committees didn't know they could operate on Zoom
Mhm.
for most of their meetings, so that's why some of them didn't participate in 19 and 21.
Yeah.
Because, or 19, 20, and 21, because they didn't know they could do their own Zoom. So just, that's the other thing to keep in mind too.
That,
And then even that is kind of a unusual sort of a
Yeah.
situation, 3 in a row, because 3 in a row for the Conservation Committee could be 2 weeks.
Mhm.
You know,
That's why you have to be careful when you look at attendance,
Yeah.
because
It-
you know, there's right now, there's
It-
somebody
or
on
3
the Human
months for another
Services
committee.
Committee that you're talking about that we can't have a meeting next month because she's in California. And she's been in California that I didn't know of for the last, well, all winter.
Hmm.
And participating Zoom, but she's got things to do and now we have a quorum issue again. So, that's a problem.
Now, my
But I
understanding.
guess that's kind of the point of like figuring out where are people when they're saying they're gonna be participating in our boards, committees and commissions, as far as we're asking people to step up, and so we expect people to step up, and that's if
But again, the chair allows it, so that's where the buck has to stop, is I've got to contact the chair.
Is all.
But if somebody's coming up for reappointment, and we examine the behavior of the person coming up for reappointment, that might be a reason we might not want to appoint them.
Correct.
yeah, no, I mean, I agree with, I think we kind of
We're
all
saying the same,
agree with what you're saying here.
yeah.
Because, you know, if you don't show up to work, you get fired. You know what I mean? So I think we all agree with that. But what we have to do is we have to come up with a metric that is fair, that is balanced. And that we know why these people are absent. Because, you know, Seth brought up a good point. Somebody's sick, they're sick. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean they can't go to future meetings. They might have missed 3 meetings in a row, or you've been on their back for 2 months. At COVID, whatever it may be, it happens to us. You know, so I mean, that's the rub. And my thing is that, like I said, we have, and I'm just telling you, because I've done this before. This is my 3rd year on this committee. 94 reappointments is a lot of reappointments. And if you guys don't mind coming in on Saturdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 times a week, we can do that, because that's what it's gonna take. So my big thing is that if we go through the roster, they've had good attendance, they're good with the chair, and they play well with others,
I think we can do that by paper.
why not advance them? The ones that we have to interview, that there's other people who are interested in that committee. Maybe they have shoddy attendance records, maybe they don't, the chair doesn't want them, or other members, they have a problem. Then those are the ones that we interview. I just think that we're wasting time. That's what I believe. I'm about efficiency.
So I have a
Step
question.
Addison, oh,
Sorry, I'm gonna start raising my hand in this meeting.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then one thing that I think is also important to remember about the nature of this whole thing is that we have this is a volunteer organization, though it is under the auspices of a large town with a big budget and lots of professional paid employees whose livelihood and future depend on our input into what it is and how they are doing their job. All these people are volunteers, and we have a limited pool of volunteers. There's only 50,000 people in Barnstable. When I say only, being a relative term, and of those 50,000 people, how many of them are of age? How many of them are legal and vote? And how many of them have the time to do this kind of stuff? And so, you know, it's like with any nonprofit organization, you know, that you're involved with, or any of these kind of volunteer scenarios, I've been involved with a lot of different ones, that if things start getting a little too stressful and a little bit too to the point and a little bit too toxic or whatever, however you want to look at it, they're gonna start going away. And then there's not gonna be a pool. Do you know what I mean? If we make it, and I'm not saying this to be glib or like when you said, well, we just can't have any live bodies at one of our earlier, or just whoever's warm at when I said that at our earlier meeting. But there is a certain amount of that because of the nature of it, because people will just walk. Why? And if they say, well, don't bother going down there because because whatever, because it's become true, this, that, or the other thing. We have to be mindful of that.
I hear you, but I don't think that we're asking for too much, just.
No, I'm saying that just as by virtue of, just as a means of maintaining a certain,
Yeah, I can-
scale to.
I
to the
understand coming up with
situation.
some metrics, we can do that, it's not that hard. I was a chair of a committee where we were having trouble with, meeting a quorum. And the then council president said, you're the chair, get them there. And I said, I think this was before there were cell phones, to be honest with you. And I said, I emailed, I phoned, I wrote, I knocked on the door. I said, I'm a volunteer too, but I can't host anything on an agenda because I don't know if we have enough heads. It's just simple math, you know, it wasn't even about qualifications at that time to show up. So I understand how it puts pressure on the chair to not have people attending. And I understand about if you miss 3 consecutive meetings. And I think the language is you may be asked to leave. It doesn't mean you have
Right.
to leave. You may.
Correct.
And that also means you can show up to a meeting, miss 2, show up to a meeting, miss 2. You can miss 2/3 of the meetings, that by our regulations. So that's where I'm saying something as simple as looking at attendance is at least a start for this.
We've already agreed on that.
Yeah, but we don't have it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, but that's,
Find a
suggestion.
we'll get the attendance right.
Mhm.
But we've already, all right, so let's just do this. So we all agree that we're gonna look at
Yes.
attendance.
I move, want to make a motion? I move.
I don't even know if we need to make a motion.
No, because my procedure, and I can tell you, it's very simple and very basic. I reach out to the chairs. I give them a list of who's expiring, not that they don't know, who's expiring on their committees.
Mhm.
I can ask for, I haven't in the past, but I can ask for attendance records. I can ask for,
Are they current with their conflict of interest?
right, are they current with their certificates? Has there ever been an issue? And I've written to chairs before, has there ever been an issue with this member? They typically send the information right back to me. I also reach out to the individual at the end of May and I ask them, your term's about to expire on 6/30/2024. Do you have interest in continuing or do you wish to step back? A lot of them say, you know what, the commitment was too much for me this year. I'm gonna step back. Then I have a vacancy and I know it because I got an email. Others say, yes, reappoint me. What we can do is those that do say reappointed, we can go to their committee chairs with their information that's gonna be forwarded to you as from them. And you can look at those individually. If there's individuals on the regulatory boards that you want to interview so that you know who they are because they have the teeth in the game, that's a little bit limited to the 94. And if there's other applications or any other openings that are being considered on 6/30/20, you would hold off on those as well. So the pool might not be as large, depending on what information, but I will email the chairs ASAP and get that information for the next meeting. So that you can start to look at it and start to digest.
My point is this, is that, like I said, I agree with everything you said, and both of you said. I agree with it all. But the only thing I'm saying is that Cynthia has a system in place. We follow that system. If they are attentive, they're making meetings, they are not, giving a hard time to the chair and they get along with everybody else and doing what they're supposed to do, then what's the sense of going through the process with them? If they're not running, if somebody else isn't trying to get that seat.
Well, I mean, I guess the only other thing that is confusing to me, and obviously I'm new, so is when we're kind of passing along people, like group after group, it doesn't really let people know that granted, if there's already a list, an opening, and that's a current opening on that other list, but also like, if the Board of Health people have been there 20 years, and none of them ever step out, and we don't ever decide are they still appropriate, then we don't ever get anybody for the Board of Health, because there's never an opening, because we're just passing
Well,
them through from.
But you're forgetting one thing that I'm saying. So say that there's, like, we use this scenario, okay, the Board of Health, say Seth's on the Board of Health, he's been on there for 20 years. And you decide you want to apply for the Board of Health. Then we don't pass him. We interview him, we interview you, then we appoint. It's just like, yeah, it's just like anything else.
You have, this committee has the ability to reappoint or not reappoint. And if somebody's been on there,
We recommend.
Well,
right,
recommend to the town council.
Right. But you'll have all the information in front of you. You'll have applications either that are new or you'll also know when they were first appointed. I can put a list together so that you know when they were first appointed to the committee, so that you know how long they've been on there. And a perfect example is the licensing authority. The chair was on there for 35 years. Never moved.
So just so you're clear on what I'm saying, just,
No,
to kind of,
I get that.
to kind of
Yeah.
explain what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if we have Seth is on licensing and nobody else is applying, and Seth has been going to the meetings, he's, the chair likes him, everybody's kumbaya, then what's the sense of interviewing?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's my
I
only
agree with
point.
that. I'm
Yeah.
not proposing.
No,
that. I
that's
just
my
don't-
only point.
I just don't want to walk in and be like, here's the 94 people.
No,
everybody
no,
consent,
no,
agree,
no.
We're doing this.
Oh,
no.
That's not how it ever ran.
Yeah, it
No,
just
no,
kinda
that's not what
feels
we're
like
saying.
that. So
No.
I just want to make sure that we're giving,
Oh, no.
the ability to maybe there's somebody that we do actually.
Yeah, no,
Whoever
whoever
is not a good fit or.
we want, for those 94 seats, we want 94 other people applying for those seats, because we want the best talent available.
Yeah, like Christine Beer said
Yeah,
she would be interested in the Board of Health.
Yeah.
And she would be a really great candidate.
Well, there you go. I didn't sit on her interview, but
Yeah.
there you go. But see, that's what I'm saying is that, instead of having people that are gonna be seated anyways, come in here and take up time, resources, the public, let's just pass them through. There's no sense of interview. What's
But
the
I
sense?
think that this, having these metrics, attendance, feedback from the chair.
Yep.
I think that's all will be part of the process.
Yeah, no, we're all agreeing. We're all arguing the same point.
And that's how we've done it in the past.
That's
Not
how it's always,
necessarily with attendance.
when reappointments come up,
Attendance last year was always taken into consideration, I can tell you that.
Paula did, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you that.
Okay.
It was always been taken, but what I'm saying is that, look, I'm sorry, I don't want to be in here 5 days a week doing appointments. I don't. I got a business to run. I got family. Just like we all do. You know what I mean? So why are we going to waste time interviewing or whatever with people who are gonna be reappointed anyways? If that cuts off 40 of the 90, great. 60 of the 90, great. But if somebody isn't, showing up, you know what I mean? They just, I don't know why they would, want to be reappointed for nothing in the first place. But if they're not showing up, if they're causing disruptions, or if somebody else wants to be appointed to that seat, then they have to be interviewed.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's pretty simple.
That's good. I just feel responsible to our mission here.
Yeah, yeah. And to be honest with you, the ones that we normally get new applications for are only the regulatories.
And I would like to know who I'm voting for, as I said before this, I may not vote for somebody, because of some reason. But I have to know who they are before I can,
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way to get that to happen
I
because,
think what you said is the way to go. You reaching out to the
Yes.
chairs and getting all that information is exactly what I need,
okay,
and I think that's,
Yeah, it would be good, I personally,
because you had suggested before that we reach out to
right,
the chair people.
because I think that's important, and their recommendation is more important than our perception of what's going on. Because they're the manager of that situation.
right. They're there every night with the
Yeah,
committee and they know who
They call
comes
them,
and
they're
who
not gonna
doesn't.
they do whatever, they'll be running their committee. And I know how frustrating it can be working in corporate and stores when people who are your bosses just come down and say, let's look at this mess you have here, not the way I do it, but yeah, I do it that way and it works fine. Do you know what I mean?
But
We're making money, and what's the difference?
I think we're basically all saying the same
Yeah.
thing, just in a different way.
Sure.
Yep.
And I take a little issue with Seth's point of view that we might scare away volunteers. I think we're elevating the standard, and I think we would, I don't know what I'm gonna say, give greater credence to the work that is being done if we show our appreciation by saying, hey, we look at what you're doing,
Right, I mean, that
Carry
may
on.
be true.
carrying on. I mean, I think that we say on behalf of the town, there's a tremendous amount of work done by volunteers.
I don't think he was saying that, and I don't mean to.
Well, no, I mean, I think of things and from my life experience and what I do, and I have, sometimes I have 100 employees and most of the time I have 50 or 60. And that's one of the management techniques that I use, that we have to try and keep things. And within the nonprofits too.
Keep it
You
simple.
have to try to keep it simple and keep it pleasant and keep it a place that people want to be. And
Right.
and you can do that and accomplish the goal that you're after. And I know that the more I nitpick, the more I'm on people, the more I make out of things that aren't necessarily a thing, except in my mind. That's when I start chasing people away. And that's just, again, not necessarily pertains to all this, but that's my life experience. So, yeah, it may not be that way.
Well, I think we give deference to people who deserve.
I think it'll be fine, as long as, we're all in the right direction, we all feel the same way, so. I feel.
All right, so
So we need to set up a meeting date, right?
we need to set up our next meeting date, yeah. So,
And what we're gonna do at that meeting?
yeah, so Cynthia, how long do you think it'll take you to get us set up?
It depends on how quickly the church respond. Some of them I have to chase. Some of them don't get the information back because they have to contact the staff. I might go directly to the staff rather than the chair.
Yeah.
I'd ask the chair how the person is on their committee and if there's any issues or anything like that. But I might go to the staff who does the meeting minutes because they will know who's there and who's not there.
Okay, because what I would suggest, and you guys, it's up to us as a group, but what I would suggest is that we get the reappointments that are unopposed. And we work on them first. So say it's somebody now, Board of Health, we can use that all day, so say Board of Health, and there's somebody on that that's unopposed, then reach out to the chair and say, how's, you know, Mary Quarterly doing
I
on?
can tell you, I only have 2 new applications in since that potential vacancy list has been listed on the town council webpage since January. And there's only one for the airport commission and,
Board of Health.
Board of Health.
Okay, so,
That's it.
yeah, so whoever,
We've interviewed those 2 people already.
yeah, so whoever is, like I said, unopposed, let's just start working on attendance.
Yep.
Getting all that information.
Yep.
So we can start interviewing the ones that need to be interviewed,
I'll send the information out tomorrow.
okay, and the ones that don't need to be interviewed, we can start pushing them through.
So so you're gonna be setting up interviews with the people from the Board of Health and the airport that are due to expire 6/24?
I have applications, but
So, but
what I would like this committee, or somebody from this committee to do is make an announcement at the town council meeting to please look at the potential vacancies that are listed. And those are the ones that are gonna expire on 6/30/2024, because I only have 2 applications.
yeah, but so
And-
for those 2, we could set those interviews
Sure.
up with the Board of Health and the airport people that
Sure.
are due to expire.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you
So
have
what,
any
2
other
people?
applications in the queue? Nothing else.
nothing.
We already did a lot of cleanup.
But we're just so backlogged,
Yeah, no, not anymore.
you know, we're so backlogged.
But now you've got 94 reappointments
Yes,
to
understood.
consider, plus
Yeah.
new applications when they come in.
Sure. That
And
announcement will be
plus-
helpful.
I don't know, as you all know, there's a reconsideration of item 166 on the agenda. Nobody's put in for any of those committees yet, and if that gets put to the appointments committee, you're gonna have all of those, that's 5 subcommittees,
But there's not residents in all 5 of those subcommittees.
3 of them. 2 of them are
2.
town council.
Didn't one of them get pushed out, kicked back because you made a
Yeah.
motion to? Only one of them, now it's just 2, right?
The housing,
The housing
Housing.
one.
There's 2 committees that have residents on it, and there's 2 for town council.
all right, so you guys, next week?
What day, what time?
So what are we just doing on the airport and Board of Health?
And we do airport, Board of Health, and whatever you may find out. In the meantime, as long as it's 48 hours, store it on. the agenda.
I can put reappointments starting.
Yeah, whatever she finds out about reappointments.
I'm gonna say, it's a short turnaround to get a reply in.
Yeah, no, it is for next week.
Well, that's
yeah.
why I said if she gets anything, we can, within 48 hours, we can put it on.
You already
And if we
interviewed,
don't get anything, we're not meeting.
No,
No.
airport.
Airport and.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, the Board of Health, you already interviewed her, so
But
it
we
would
have
just be
to-
one person,
But
Paul
we-
Phelan, put in for the airport commission.
But we also need to interview the expiring person from the airport commission.
Correct,
Person who's on.
Because it's.
On the airport.
yeah, they are, I think there's 4.
Oh, there's more people for the airport?
Let's see, there's 1, 2, nope, there's 3 that are expiring.
So there's 1 person for 3 possible openings, meaning that, so do you then consider each of those seats contested? Interview all? 3
Yeah,
of
we
those
have to interview
people,
all.
And then interview that one, that's gonna make things easier.
Well, we don't have to re-interview Christine.
Oh, the one that we already did.
Right, she checked off on her application, she'd like to be considered for the Board of Health, and since these 3 are expiring, you'd have to call in these 3 to be re-interviewed.
Got it.
And already interviewed Christine.
And how many people in airport are up for, so that's 6 people, 3 for the Board of Health and 3 for the airport?
The Board of Health is
Sorry, I don't know.
1, 2, 3, yes, 3 for the Board of Health. And 3 for the airport, so that's 6 people.
So do you want to see if we can do that next week? Get those out of the queue?
Sure.
Next week is weird for me, but I don't mind, I'll make it if I can, but I.
Or you can put it off
No.
a week.
I mean, all my weeks.
It's not good for you?
Not good for me.
All right, well, we'll put it off the following week.
It's probably-
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Well, that gives Cindy plenty of time to gather information, set up 6
There you go.
interviews.
Yeah, that, and if we get maybe 10 reappointments we can do or whatever, but those take no time, yeah.
I have the next one scheduled possibly for April 26th. That'll give me a couple weeks to get the information and to reach out to those that
Hold on a
may.
second.
I'll be in California.
I'm going to California the last weekend.
We're all going with him.
That is the last weekend.
Yeah, just give me a second, just let me check my calendar.
Do you think, Cindy, that you would have time to get those potential 6 people interviews set up for the like 17th, Wednesday, the April 17th?
Yeah, I could reach out to them, yeah. If they're here, yeah, they should be. I mean, the airport commission's never had a quorum issue, so I'm sure they're all.
Yeah, Wednesday the 17th is good for me.
Sounds great.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. For me, my schedule is weird. There's no telling what my days will be like. So any day could be good or bad. I usually make it to these things though.
Charlie, how about you? The 7th?
Wednesday's fine, you know,
Chris?
our 3:30 on a Friday is good too, which that gives Cindy a couple more days to.
No, the 17th should be fine. We're only at the 4th now, so I've got a full week or a week and 3 days to reach out to people.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we have to, we can do another one on the 24th.
I mean, the emails will go out
Yeah.
tomorrow morning for it all anyway.
Because we have council with this month, the 4th
And the 25th.
and
And you'll-
the 25th.
I was just saying.
The week of the 15th is school vacation week.
Yeah.
You can be with it.
I think we have a
Special-
special
I'll fly them.
Special town council's on the 11th,
on the
Right.
11th, yeah. And
so we
then,
have 4, 11 and
25.
Yeah, I thought you meant
When-
bring.
That's the walk.
PFAS.
No, I know, but is that when the vacation for the kids falls?
No, it's the 15th through the 19th is school vacation week.
which is why the town council meeting is not on the 3rd Thursday, it's on
Right.
the 4th.
It's on the 25th instead.
Those darn kids.
1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, I'm driving to Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Gonna
That'll
eat
be
some
fun.
chocolate?
No, it's another cheerleading competition.
Did you get the chocolate after the meeting?
I'm gonna eat chocolate after.
So are you on top of the pyramid or?
No, no, I'm in the stands yelling for my granddaughter.
Oh, the visual.
I was a cheerleader back in 1981 at Barnstable High School. That was enough.
You look like you will.
All right,
so
so
what time on the 17th?
3:30?
3:30?
2:30?
3:30.
3:30, okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, good work. We hammered some stuff out today. Good job. Democracy is, in action.
I moved
Do
to
we need
adjourn.
to
Second.
adjourn?
You know, yeah, we're doing second, all those in favor?
All those in favor? Unanimous, we are adjourned at 4:40.